Welcome to Two Sisters Podcast with your hosts, Kristy and Melissa, who are real sisters bringing you real talk about life and faith through humor, insight, and community. Now, let's get into this week's episode.
What's up, guys? It's Melissa.
Hey, Kristy.
And welcome to Two Sisters Podcast. So today we are doing a Q&A session. Again, continuing with the theme of coaching sessions. And we really didn't know how to come up with the title for this one. But basically, it is dealing with when, and we're coaches, right? So people want advice all the time. And so I feel like, and this is kind of it's loaded but simple, kind of, it's a two-folded kind of thing for me. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start while I have this on my heart to say. So I think for me, I'm going to pose it in this way. So the question came to me, what do you do when people come to you for advice, but they don't take it? Initially, and I just feel like it also goes with maturity too, and I'll say it from this point of view. Most of the times, and this is outside of your career, outside of being a life coach, when people first start coming to you, they're usually your friends, they're usually your family, people you love. Okay? So you care about them. You want to help them. It's, you know what I mean? Like sometimes and most times you want to protect them and keep them from the
hurt.
You couldn't hold that in.
Oh,
You try to protect them, especially if you can foresee. So you can see the things that's happening. You can see, and again, sometimes people are so involved in it that
caught up in physical attraction
and whatever else. They're so caught up. I know that.
Yeah.
They're so caught
Don't
up
be skipping over my.
because it's just more than physical attraction sometimes.
Oh, okay.
All right. That's why I said whatever they caught up in. Anyway, the point is they're in the middle. They can't really see what they say, the trees for the forest. So they can't really see what's right in front of them, what they can see literally right in front of them. They don't have peripheral view at all. So, you're trying to protect them from the things that either you've been through it and you know what's about to happen, or you're just trying to prevent them from and protect them from basically just being destroyed, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, rather, just whatever it is, their well-being, basically. And so then you graduate to your career or whatever, then you start getting peers and colleagues. So your sphere of influence, whether you see it as that or not, your sphere of influence becomes a little bit bigger. What I don't think people understand is that it takes an emotional toll, a physical toll, a mental toll on you, especially if you care. That's exertion. You're exerting energy, you're exerting love, you're exerting, you know what I mean? Like you get involved indirectly. And I don't think, and sometimes it seems as if that other person is um is sometimes they can be taken advantage, and most times they don't appreciate you as a person. And then there's sometimes people just don't know they just don't know that they are being inconsiderate, insensitive, and selfish, basically, because they take up your time. They call your phone, they take up your time, they present their problem to you, which means they just loading off their negative whatever, okay, just loading off their issues, their problems, their concerns on you. You taking that all in, and you literally process for them and then give them an intelligent, solution or answer, and they go right around and do the opposite of what your advice was to them.
On what they asked you for.
So it's not like it was unsolicited advice. You know what I'm saying? You took the time, you took the hours, you sat down, as they say in the South, you sat down somewhere and you talked to them. You let them pour their hearts out. They cried on your shoulder, and then they turned right around and will go back to them, or go do the opposite of what you suggested. And then what you thought would happen happened. And then they're back. And this is literally a cycle. They go, they come, they come, they go. They come with to a point where you're on the hamster wheel with them. Now, with that being said, let me say to you this, what I've learned and what I have done. I have literally had to cut people off. And let me tell you why. What you have to understand is that you need to respect yourself, being that you have to respect your time, respect your space, respect your energy, respect everything about your needs. You have to actually care for yourself. You have to care for you. And when you're doing that, then you have to require other people to respect you, your space, your time, your energy. And when it comes to and this is the thing, what's so funny is that people tend to think that you just supposed to freely be available to them. When you start charging or mention anything about any kind of compensation, then people think you crazy. You know what I'm saying? So treat it like you are a coach. Treat it like it is a business. Start making people respect your time. Okay? Set up boundaries. So now, I'm not talking to people at a certain time. If it's like hair on fire or whatever, like if it's something that's a straight up real emergency, then that's different. But what you're not going to do is call me at certain times of days and nights because you decided to stay with a man or a woman that continue to be disrespectful to you, to degrade you, to mentally distress you in all capacities. And then now you calling me because you ain't listening the first, second, fifth, 10th time. So it's like you have to protect your emotional space, your physical space, and keep yourself actually spiritually fed so that you can help them, but help them more spiritually, which means fasting, prayer, doing those things that maybe they can't see, and handle the real fight for them. If they're a true friend, because my sister and I, we've done a lot of spiritual battles that people don't know about behind the scenes. You know what I mean? It's the real enemy that you need to basically intercede for them for anyway, especially when they can't see. And that's a whole nother.
It's the real enemy that you're fighting.
Right.
And you're interceding
on their behalf. Correct.
Against the enemy.
Correct.
To be clear.
Okay, I thought I was, but okay. So
well, you said something like interceding in the enemy, and you said it's so quick that people might not get it.
Okay. What she said. All right. So once you start to realize that, you literally stop wasting time and just literally, sometimes I just let people vent and I have nothing for them. I've had people even ask me, well, what do you think? Why am I going to say, and I have had this conversation. Why am I going to tell you anything or say anything to you when I know you're not going to listen to what I tell you? That's a waste of my breath. And I no longer wish to waste my breath. Okay. So I'll be a listening ear for 5 minutes, I'll give you 10 minutes of my time for you to vent. Okay, because sometimes people just need to talk it through and hear themselves. Okay. But then other times they don't. So my thing is to you is to start respecting yourself. Start caring about yourself and your whole well-being, and then start setting up parameters and boundaries and require people to respect your time and your effort and your energy, and stop allowing people to continue to use you and take advantage of you, because that's what they're doing.
Regardless of whether they mean to or not.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of you. So don't you take advantage of yourself, and don't you allow yourself to be somebody else's, like, I don't know, it's like a
Dumping ground.
dumping ground. Exactly. They just dump, 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 and you never receive from them. You
Right,
never
you're their
receive from
landfill.
them.
You are their landfill.
It's no reciprocation. I can, and sometimes maybe once off or whatever, once every 3 years they may can help you. But no, it should not be like that. It should be more of a reciprocation. And it should, honestly, it should not be mentally draining. It should not be exhaustive. All right. Your friendship should not be exhausting. All right. Everybody go through ups and downs, and that's what friends are for. But you're not supposed to be spiritually drained and you looking to run away every single time you see their name or hear their name or see their phone number come up on your caller ID. So that's to me, that's what I've done. I've just simply stopped doing it. I've had tough conversations where I told people they're going to respect me, or they don't have to. They have a right to choose. But once you choose, like I told y'all previously before, I'm a black queen. You would not ever know you've known me, okay? Because I'm not going to continue to allow you to misuse me and my family. Because if you're using me, you're using the resources out of my house. Okay, that's how I see it. Anyway, anything to add, Kristen?
12 minutes in.
I had a lot to say about it.
All right. I don't have as much experience with this lately, and when I say lately, I mean in the latest 3 years or so, because I intentionally went through my phone and deleted numbers of coworkers, past coworkers, associates,
That's part of the cleanup process.
friends,
Yeah.
right? So with that being said, there aren't a lot of people who phone me at this juncture 3 years later.
Yeah.
Whereas, excuse me,
all I'm saying is, but how did you get? You know what I mean? Like you're telling
that's
them.
what I'm telling them what the process was. I eliminated and deleted phone numbers, right? And my phone number changes. Okay. I have people in my family that have phone numbers that they've had since they've had phone numbers for 30 years. The same number. I have college friends who have the same number they had freshman year.
That's true.
I don't. You understand?
Oh my God.
So, and then I give you my number, or I sometimes forget, and you have to call a sibling to get the number. So I don't have these issues that Melissa has. Okay, had right now years ago, 5+ years ago, I did. I had all types of associates calling me, and people that you wouldn't necessarily call a best friend or even a close friend, but they know that you're a good listener. They know you get good advice. You have some type of stability or structure maybe, and they're drawn to that, right? And then when Melissa was talking about like reciprocation, and most times in these types of relationships, there is no reciprocation. Like you don't call them for advice because you know their life is jacked up. So what kind of advice you gonna give me? So it's very, very lopsided.
Yes.
And that's why it's so draining, and because there is no equal reciprocation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it truly comes into like a one-sided conversation, and it's years in the making, and you're literally somebody's therapist slash psychologist slash life coach before we were certified as life coaches. And it's just draining. So between you having an everyday life, going to work, pouring into that for 10 hours a day. We used to commute, right? Some of us still do. Then you come home, you're with your family, you are giving energy to them. And then you're getting on the phone. But these people call you maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning before you go to work. Before you even get to work. Then they trying to call you, texting you, call you on your lunch break because they have an emergency. Then when you get home, so like all of your peaceful moments or peaceful times where you're supposed to get yourself together, you're constantly giving that energy out, right? Like I really want you guys to really look at this like reasonably. Just how we understand how much time we spend with coworkers because we spend more time with them than we do with our family, right? By the time you get home, eat dinner, decompress, bond with the family, go to bed, you're still spending most of your waking hours with strangers that end up being, close, whatever. So just think about that. And if you're spending your free time, be that on the weekends, your lunch break, before work, after work, trying to coach people, family members, coworkers, associates, how much time are you giving to others without really recharging your battery?
Right.
Like, let's just really look at that. Look at the numbers, right? And no wonder you may be having health issues. No wonder you are forgetting things. Like, no wonder you're flying off at the handle and getting really angry and upset because you haven't given yourself time. Because you're constantly giving to others and you haven't given to yourself, and given to yourself mostly with, your time with God, right? You razzled and dazzled and frustrated. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you have to recharge your battery, and you charge that battery by spending time with God. You know what I mean? Just anchoring yourself and reminding yourself so that you can recharge and so that you can go help others. We're not saying don't help others. That's not what this is about. This is about you recognizing that you are putting and allowing yourself to be used up. Right?
Yeah.
We get one life. We have to be a good steward over the time that we've given in a day, in a week, in a month. Just think about how much time you've given, hours, months, and years to counseling others, only for them to be up in these situations that aren't healthy for them. And so, yes, as Melissa was saying, one of the biggest lessons that we learned, and we learned it early on. I mean, like a decade ago, more than a decade ago. Listen, we're gonna tell you, we're gonna advise you, we're gonna try to be nice about it. But if you're not listening to us, if God leads us to, then we're gonna do some other things in the background that we're not gonna talk about.
Right.
And it's gonna be between us and God concerning your situation. And we're gonna keep it moving because at the end of the day, we are not God.
We are not
Jesus.
Right.
We are not the Holy Spirit. We don't know it all. Right? And we can't stress ourselves about
you. We got our own life.
About your troubles that you keep voluntarily jumping back into.
Right.
And we've done it. Listen. We have done it. I've been on the other end, right? I've been the one calling, well, really not calling, really more like walking across the way. Right?
Oh, boy.
Right? But yeah, like I was the one that was stressing this one here out, calling from different states.
That's stressing.
Right? In between airports. Look at here. Right? He did this with a girl. You know what she said to me at work? Because you could believe you know. So I was the troublemaker, basically. I was the one, you know what I mean? And the Lord decided for Melissa to be born first. Praise the Most High God. I'm telling you, because I was meant to be a little sister. You understand me?
Oh my gosh.
I needed a little extra help. So blessedly for me, she can't do nothing with me. You know what I'm saying? She couldn't kick me out and erase my number from her phone.
Right.
But so I just kind of blessed out where I'm still here and still able to have her ear. You know what I mean? But like when you do introspection and you realize, you know, that you're the problem, then that helps you anchor yourself. What did you laugh? Ma'am.
Because usually I'm the one who says it.
Ma'am. I think she laughing a little too hard over here. Okay, people. She's laughing way too hard. You've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, boy. Go ahead.
I tell you, boy. When you realize that you're the problem, you get yourself together through time with God. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So once like I used to be a problem. And of course she wouldn't say that because she's a big sister.
Mm-hmm.
I would bug her with endless scenarios of what was going on in my life when there were easy solutions to it, but I couldn't see it. You know what I mean? And there's only so many times. Like, so I was that person for her. One of the many ones at the time. So once you allow God to fix you and you fix yourself, you know what I mean? Then you see who you used to be, and then you recognize that in other people. And once you go through a healing process, then you're able to then put up boundaries. Number one, you're able to have sympathy and empathy for those that were like you.
Yeah.
And no, you don't want to shut people out completely. You do want to help them, but you also know that you used to be the one tripping and jacking up other people's time for your life issues when you could have just got your life together.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you know how to easily recognize those flags in other people and deal with them accordingly in a healthy way. Ultimately, hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, it did.
Ultimately, we're given one life, guys, and we have to be a good steward over this time. Like, really, we do. So just think about that, you know? Think about that.
Well, all right. Well, there you have it, guys.
Yeah.
What do you do when people ask for your advice and they don't take it, or they do the opposite of what you suggested and find themselves in the same situation?
You know what?
What?
I have to add.
Okay, go ahead.
You have to forgive them.
Yeah.
You need to forgive them because, you know, some of us do get upset. It's easy to get upset with someone who's been draining your energy for years and years and years.
Start to get a little resentful.
And you start to get resentful, like, wait a minute, all this hand holding I've been doing, and you just go
sleepless night crying.
Right. Like you really be messed up when you love somebody and care for somebody and you want them to come out of an unhealthy situation.
Yeah.
Be that a job, be that a relationship.
Yeah.
Be that another friendship that they have with somebody else, that really ain't their friend. Like, it's all kinds of scenarios out there, right?
Yeah.
And then they turn around. It's like, whoa, they hurt you by them staying in these unhealthy situations or unhealthy environments. And then that could build up resentment, that could build up anger, right? Frustration, right? But you know what? What we need to remember, right? Because we're talking about solutions, as Melissa was saying, we have to let that go.
Yeah.
And as I say, give them over to God. You understand
me? You're not Jesus.
Cast your care, if they the care, unto the Lord, for he cares for you.
Yes.
All right?
Take up his yoke for his life.
Forgive them, because you've been there too. You've been that one that has been seeking advice and still don't follow that advice and go back to whatever situation for however long. You've been there. So yeah, on that part, don't judge them. You were there for them, right? Iron sharpened iron. You tried, right? But forgive them. Do not resent them. Don't get frustrated. Cat, you and your quiet time with God, take that care of him. so and so told me this, and this, Lord, and I've been doing this and this and on their behalf, and they went around and tell the Lord, He knows.
Exactly.
Get it out, right?
Flush it out. Yeah.
Flush it out with Him. So that's a very important what to do as well. Do not hold grudges. Forgive
That's a
them.
good one.
Because they have what? Free will.
Yeah.
They are free to decide how they're gonna live their life.
Yeah. Well, all right. There you go, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Q&A. Again, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for listening. And also share your experiences for those of you who don't mind sharing. You know, just share your experience. Like, what's your experience in with that, giving advice when people just basically don't take it, and, your frustrations. What did you do? How did you handle it?
What was your journey like?
What was your journey like? We'd like to hear it. We'd love to hear
What
it.
boundaries have you put in place or haven't put in place?
Right. If you are, connecting to what we're saying here.
Mm-hmm.
You can also send your questions to podcast.twosisters@gmail.com for future Q&A questions. We will love to hear from you. And just thank you again. Okay, guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Sisters Podcast, where we hope to encourage you on your journey of transformation and healing while having fun along the way. Follow us on IG and Twitter. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. It's available on all major podcast providers. Just search for Two Sisters Podcast. Till next time.